10 days. I've had 10 days with this device, and I have 4 more days left. How's it going, guys? I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, still using this as my primary device. Now, since we last talked on day 8, I switched this device out. Samsung was nice enough to send over another Galaxy Nexus for use in the contest and for use in some future dogfights and things like that. So special thanks to Samsung for sending it over. Now, I'm still having some call issues, not having as many dropped calls. I've only had 1 dropped call since I've had this one. But what I will say is, the signal strength still seems kind of wonky in comparison to other devices. Not just Verizon devices, but in comparison to, and it's hard to compare across various networks, but you look at like the Galaxy Note, the Galaxy S2, a lot of these AT&T devices, Samsung has no problems in the radio department. It's nothing that's, stereotypical of Samsung or anything like that. But I've just noticed with the Galaxy Nexus, the radio just seems to be a little bit less than adequate, particularly when I'm comparing it to the HTC Resound or the Motorola Droid Razr Max on Verizon. I'm finding that my calls drop first on this, or they start to get a little bit choppy on this, and I wouldn't say fringe Verizon areas, but areas where Verizon maybe has 1, 2, 3 bars of service, let's say between -80 and -105 dBm, if you're familiar with that type of reading. I find that this thing gets a little bit choppy before any of the other devices, and I've totally forgot to put this on full brightness and turn off the screen lock before I shut the video. But anyway, I've been really pleased with the ice cream sandwich as a whole. I've said this in past videos. I really enjoy ice cream sandwich. I like the stock version as well. For me, it works pretty well. I like the way the fonts look. I like the modifications, the things they've done is to change it and make it look better. Let's take a look, for example, at PhoneDog. I want to show you the site, PhoneDog.com, and we'll load it up. And just little things. The one thing that I don't like about this device I'm still having issues with is how long it takes to rotate from portrait to landscape mode. I mean, take a look at that. It does take some time. And what Google says, or what they say, the Android developers say, is that they do that so you're not in the car and constantly doing this and it's not switching back and forth. I say give me the option to just turn it off, because for most people I don't think that's going to be a problem. And you can see there is a little bit of a transition lag between going from portrait to landscape mode. What's particularly interesting is it depends on what application you're in. I'm finding, for example, that was actually faster than I've seen it do it in some time. When I'm in messaging, it may take 3 to 4 seconds. Whereas when I'm here, it's taking 1 to 2 seconds. So I just find little inconsistencies like that. Otherwise, pinch and zoom. I'm going to try to do this in the camera so you can see. I mean, relatively responsive. I've been pleased with the overall speed. The 1.2 gigahertz TI OMAP processor does a pretty decent job with handling browsing, especially browsing. But browsing, messaging, anything that requires more than a little bit of processing power. Messaging while I'm browsing or looking at a YouTube video, things that are taking up some system resources, I've been relatively pleased with. Still did not get the extended battery, and just so you know, the extended battery is a 2,100 milliamp hour battery that you can get at Verizon or online through Samsung. This is the stock 1,850 milliamp hour battery, and I'm finding that even on the new one, I'm still having to charge a couple of times a day. So it's kind of a trade-off. As of right now, this is the only stock ice cream sandwich device on the market in terms of being available for a new retail customer. Obviously, the HTC Vivid has ice cream sandwich, although it has a user interface. And you look at like the Galaxy, or the Nexus S rather, and the Nexus S 4G, which will get it in the coming weeks, hopefully. But this, as a new customer, the only device in the market that you can get stock ice cream sandwich. So if that's something that appeals to you, you're a developer, you're somebody that loves to hack and mod and root, this is going to be the ultimate device for you. And I love the form factor. I still love the way it feels in the hand. It's got a nice curved design. The 4.65-inch display is perfect in terms of size. But for me, the radio issues are still kind of a make or break thing, and I think it's kind of forcing me to consider another device. And I hate to do that before the end of the 14 days. Maybe I'll change my mind, but at least for me right now, I'll have to reevaluate at the end of the 14 days and see whether I can deal with those radio issues. Again, very odd, because I've worked with the Galaxy Note as part of the 30-day challenge, had no problems whatsoever with radio. It seemed to be a pretty reasonable device in terms of radio and in terms of signal strength. With this, having some issues, although right now you'll see that I have full 4G service in the office because I have a Verizon repeater and I'm staring at it, Verizon cell site rather, right outside my window at the hotel. So that's kind of a nice little thing to have in the office. Nice when you review phones as well. But this is day 10. Stay tuned. I've got probably 2 more videos in the Galaxy Nexus challenge before I decide what I'm going to do, if I'm going to keep this or I'm going to move on to the next challenge. We've got some exciting stuff planned ahead for the 30 days, so for the next 30-day challenge, so stay tuned for that. And actually, I guess I kind of gave it away because that means I have another challenge coming, so I'm not going to be using this for much longer. But it's fun to have 30-day challenges. I think that gives you a nice insight as to what phones can do, as opposed to the typical 24 to 48 hour review cycle. So stay tuned. Galaxy Nexus, a couple more videos coming. We'll talk more in depth about media, about browsing, and more when I come back with the next Galaxy Nexus challenge video.